very last story time of summer reading. Can you guys believe it? We have made it 8 whole weeks. You guys have done an amazing job. I am so proud of all of you. So this week, we are going to be talking about elves. Elves are the most amazing little creatures, aren't they? Another word for elf can be fairy, gnome, leprechaun. They're all kind of the same thing. They just originate from different countries, things like that. So we are going to read a couple of stories about some really cute, fun little elves and do a little finger play. So you guys ready to go? All right, let's get all of our wiggles out so that we are ready to read. Ready? Arms straight up in the air and wiggle, 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 wiggle. Wiggle this way. Wiggle that way. Shake and make a funny sound. Good job. Ready? Open, shut them, open, shut them. Give a little clap. Great job. Open, shut them, open, shut them. Put them in your lap. All right, we're almost ready. Do you guys remember what we need to say? Ready? I am great. I am smart. I am strong. I am loved. And today is a wonderful day. It is, isn't it? It is a wonderful day to get to spend some time with you, my friends, reading some wonderful stories about elves. Okay, so for our first story, I am going to read you a little story from this big, huge book called The Complete Fairy Tales of the Brothers Grimm. Now, this book is full of words, but sadly, no pictures. So, I'm going to tell you just a very short little story about some elves and a shoemaker, because the next book that we're going to read, you kind of need to know about these little elves. Okay, so here we go. There once was a shoemaker who, through no fault of his own, had become so poor that he had only enough leather left for a single pair of shoes. That evening, he cut out the shoes, which he planned to work on the next morning, and since he had a clear conscience, he lay down quietly in his bed, commended himself to God, and fell asleep. In the morning, after he had said his prayers and was about to sit down to do his work, he saw the 2 shoes standing, all finished, by his workbench. He was so astounded by this that he did not know what to say. He took the shoes in his hand to examine them more closely and saw that the shoes were perfect. Not a single bad stitch could be found, and it was as if the shoes were intended to be masterpieces. Shortly after, a customer entered the shop, and he liked the shoes so much he paid more than the usual price for them. The money enabled the shoemaker to purchase leather for 2 pairs of shoes. In the evening, he cut them out and planned to begin work on them with renewed vigor the next morning. However, it was not necessary, for the shoes were already finished by the time he awoke. Once again, he found customers for them, and they gave him enough money to purchase leather for 4 pairs of shoes. Following morning, he found the 4 pairs of shoes already made, and so it went on. Whatever he cut out in the evening was finished by morning, and soon he had a decent income again and eventually became a well-to-do man. Now, one evening not long before Christmas, it happened that the man had been cutting leather, and just before he went to bed, he said to his wife, "What would you think about staying up tonight? If we do that, we might be able to see who's been lending us such a helping hand." His wife agreed and lit a candle. As they hid themselves behind some clothes that were hanging in the corner of the room, they watched closely. When it was midnight, 2 cute little elves scampered into the room, sat down at the shoemaker's woodbench, took all the work that had been cut out, and began to stitch, sew, and hammer so skillfully and nimbly that with their little fingers, that the amazed shoemaker could not take his eyes off of them. Indeed, they did not stop until everything was done and the shoes were left standing on the workbench. Then they quickly ran away. The next morning, the wife said, The little men have made us rich. We ought to show them that we're grateful for their help. Do you know what? They ran around with very tattered clothes on. They must be very cold. I'm going to sew some shirts, coats, jackets, and trousers for them. I'll also knit a pair of stockings for each, and you can make them both a pair of shoes." "That's fine with me," said the husband. In the evening, after they had finished everything, they put the gifts on the workbench instead of the cutout leather and hid themselves in order to see how the elves would react. At midnight, the elves came scampering into the room and wanted to get right down to work, but they found the nice little clothes instead of the cutout leather. At first they were puzzled, but then they were tremendously pleased. They put the clothes on quickly, smoothed them down, and said, "Now we look so fine and dandy, no more need to work and be so handy." Then they skipped, danced, and jumped over chairs and benches. Finally, they danced right out the door and were never seen again. But the shoemaker continued to be prosperous until the end of his life and succeeded in all of his endeavors. What sweet little elves, weren't they? They helped the shoemaker by making shoes that were beautiful. And then the shoemaker and his wife repaid them by giving them some nice new clothes to wear. Very fun. All right, so before we read our next book, let's stretch our bodies a little bit, okay? Ready? Arms straight up in the air. Stretch high, 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 high. Good job. Now stretch all the way to the side and to the other side. Good job. Arms straight out, palms up. Stretch this way and that way. Good job. Arms in, give yourself a big hug. Good job. You guys are doing great. All right. Our next book is called The Shelf Elf by Jackie Mims Hopkins and illustrated by Rebecca Thornburg. And there's our friend. Let's see what he does next. By the candlelight, the shoemaker and his wife watched the two little elves dance merrily out of sight. The end. Did you ever wonder what became of those elves after they left the shoemaker's shop? I can tell you because I am one of them. My name is Scoob, and the other elf was Skeeter. Skeeter went up north to work with his cousin, a toy maker, and I danced right off the page and into this library. Now I live in the library. I have a new job. I'm a shelf elf. I take care of the books and the library shelves. Stax, also known as the Grand Dewey Daddy Shelf Elf, gave me a book with helpful tips on library manners and book care. Stax told me about a special award that is given to shelf elves. It's called the Golden Shelf Elf Award. I'm trying to earn it by taking good care of books and keeping the shelves straight. He also told me that the library has to have girls and boys with nice library manners. Some of the things he told me to look for are children who use shelf markers, quiet voices, and walking feet. Maybe you can help me win the Golden Shelf Elf Award, and we can share it. One of the tools I use in my new job is a shelf marker. Let's look in my book to find out more about using shelf markers. The shelf marker holds my place on the shelf while I decide if I want to check the book out. If I don't, the shelf marker shows me where the book belongs. Come on, let's go find a book to check out. Oh no, look at these shelves. There are 3 books that weren't put back on the shelf correctly. The books should be standing up straight and tall with their spines showing, not like this one or this one, and this one's upside down. Oh dear, makes it very hard to read. Ooh, this one looks interesting. I would like to keep it for a long time. I wonder if it would be okay to check it out for a whole year. Let's see what my Shelf Elves guide says about this. Keeping a book for a year wouldn't be fair. Everyone should return books on time so others can check them out. We need to share, right? Oh, this book is making me hungry. I think I'll eat a little snack and have some juice while I read it. Before I get my snack, I better find out if there's a rule about eating and drinking while reading a book. Everyone should have clean hands when they look at books. Food could stain the pages, and if the juice spills, it would make the pages wet. Remember to keep books away from anything wet. Oh, the corner of this page has been bent down. Someone must have been marking their place before finishing the book. We should not do that, though. We should use a bookmark, right? Or just a little piece of paper in between the pages works too. Oh no, this page is torn. Someone must have turned the page too quickly. It was probably an accident, but we have to remember to turn the pages carefully. And we should keep books in a safe place away from little ones who don't understand how to take care of books, right? So they don't color in them or bite them. Pets can also do that, so that's why it's very important to keep them in a nice, safe place. The librarian, Miss Paige Turner, needs to know about the problems in this book. Sometimes she and Stax can repair the books. So I'll put the book in the hospital box, and maybe they will teach me how to repair books too. It's very important to always let your librarian know if there's any problems with any of the books that you take home. You're not going to get in trouble, we promise. But a lot of times we can fix them with special tape and other tools that we have that only the librarians have. Thank you for helping me today. With helpful girls and boys like you, we will sure win the Golden Shelf Elf Award someday. It's time to say goodbye, but please remember to whisper in your quiet library voice. Loud noises hurt my tiny ears. There they are, visiting the library. I really hope that you guys can come back and visit us at the library very, very soon, because you guys all follow those very important rules that our shelf elf talked about. You guys are fantastic about using your library voices and your walking feet, and you take very good care of all of our books. So I hope that you can come and use them again very, very soon. All right, let's wiggle our fingers a little bit. We are going to talk about a little elf. So our little elf sat in a tree, painting leaves to throw at me. Leaves of yellow, leaves of red came tumbling down on my head. Ready? Do it again. A little elf sat in a tree, painting leaves to throw at me. Leaves of yellow, leaves of red came tumbling down on my head. What a silly little elf. Elves can be very sneaky and mischievous. Do you guys know what that big word means? It means kind of naughty, right? So our last book is by Tom Fletcher, and it is called There's an Elf in Your Book. And it is a super cute little story about how the elves help Santa Claus a little bit, right? Okay, here we go. There is an elf in your book. Oh, look, there is an elf in your book. Elf's here to do the nice list test with you. You need to be on the nice list if you want Santa to bring you any Christmas presents. And even though it is the middle of summer, it is never too early to work on getting onto Santa's nice list and staying there, right? For you to pass the test, Elf will ask you to do some nice things. But watch out, elves can be a bit mischievous. Don't get tricked into being naughty, okay? When you're ready to take the test, turn the page. Good luck. I think you guys can do it. Let's start with an easy one. Touch your nose. To see if you pass the test, turn the page. Touch your nose. Great job, you passed the first test. Now, blow a Christmas kiss. Do you think you passed? Let's see. What a lovely Christmas kiss. You passed the second test. What's next? Sing a cheery Christmas song. Can you guys sing? Let's see if you passed. Beautiful singing. You passed the third test. Now, say, I'm a Weisenheimer Sparklebutt. Wait a second. This sounds like a naughty trick. I think Elf is testing you. Don't say, I'm a Weisenheimer Sparklebutt. Now, turn the page. Phew, that was a trick. Thank goodness you didn't say it. You passed the fourth test. Now, how is the nice list test going so far, Elf? He says thumbs up. Awesome, keep it up. Name Santa's most famous reindeer. Who do you think it is? Rudolph, correct. You passed the fifth test. You're great at this. Now, do your loudest, stinkiest pizza burp. Ew, stop, 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 stop. Do you think this is another naughty elf trick? It was another trick. Good catch. Keep this up and you'll be on the nice list in no time. What's next, Elf? Now, for the final test, make Elf laugh. Well, to make Elf laugh, you'll have to tell a joke. Have a look in the Christmas joke book. Turn the page to open it. Are you guys ready? Yeah. What do elves do in the toilet? Uh-oh. Jingle smells! Oh no. Oh no. The joke was a mischievous elf trick to make you say something naughty. Oh, does this mean you failed the test? Surely you can't be on the nice list if you've done something so naughty. It looks as though Elf feels bad for tricking you. But rules are rules. Hang on. Wait a second. The test was to make Elf laugh. And you did. So, you passed the nice list test. Hooray! You are officially on the nice list. Great job, you guys. You didn't let that silly old elf trick you, did you? You got on the nice list, and I just know you're going to stay there until Christmas time, aren't you? Well, guys, that's all the books that I have to read to you today. Thank you so much for joining me this summer for all of our wonderful story times. I really enjoyed sharing all of these books with you, and I hope that you had fun too. I look forward to sharing more books with you guys in the future, so stay tuned, okay? Have a wonderful rest of your summer, guys. Bye.